In the spring of 217 BC, Hannibal began an offensive against Pistoia, crossing the Apennines. Two Roman armies under the consuls Servilius and Flaminius advanced towards him, blocking his route to Rome. Orestium, where Flaminius had his camp, was ideal for defense, a fortified city surrounded by impassable forests and swamps. It controlled the only road to the south. Hannibal decided to bypass Orestium through the Clusian marshes, which had become extremely difficult to navigate due to the flooding. The Carthaginian army walked waist-deep in water for 3 days, suffering from insects and lack of sleep. Many died, and Hannibal himself lost an eye due to infection and was subsequently forced to wear a bandage. Having emerged from the swamps, the Carthaginian army found itself in the rear of Flaminius. Taking advantage of this advantage, the troops replenished their supplies through raids and restored their strength. In addition, Hannibal managed to attract some Italian tribes to his side, which increased the number of his army to 40,000 people, including 25,000 Gauls, long-standing enemies of Rome. Hannibal's daring maneuver took the Romans by surprise. The Carthaginian army advanced to Lake Trasimene, finding itself closer to Rome than Flaminius' troops. In the valley near the lake, Hannibal set up an ambush. Some troops were stationed at the entrance to the valley, others on the hills, and the main forces hid on the heights. Flaminius, without waiting for reinforcements from Servilius and without organizing reconnaissance, rushed in pursuit with a 30,000-strong army. Hoping for a major victory, he even stocked up on shackles for future prisoners. It was important for Hannibal to defeat Flaminius before the arrival of the Second Roman Army. The battle began early in the morning of June 22. The Roman army entered the valley, expecting an easy victory. But a thick fog hid the Carthaginian ambush. When the Romans came close enough, Hannibal ordered an attack from several sides simultaneously. The Roman legions, stretched out on the march, did not have time to regroup and became easy prey for the enemy. The battle lasted 3 hours and ended with the death of Flaminius, pierced by the spear of the Gallic horseman Ducarius. Some of the Romans tried to save themselves by swimming, but they were caught up by the Carthaginian cavalry. Servilius' detachment, which had advanced to help, was also defeated. According to ancient sources, the Romans lost from 15 to 25,000 killed and from 6 to 15,000 captured. The Carthaginian army lost only about 500 people. The 13th-century Spanish chronicle Historia de Hispania specifies, the Romans lost 25,000 killed and 6,000 captured, the Carthaginians 12,000 killed. The defeat caused panic in Rome. An urgent gathering of troops to defend the city, the construction of fortifications and the destruction of bridges across the Tiber began. In the conditions of the crisis, Quintus Fabius was elected dictator, nicknamed the Slow for his strategy of avoiding major battles and using guerrilla tactics. Hannibal himself, having not received support from the Etruscans, refused to storm Rome. Having given his troops a respite, he headed to the south of Italy, hoping to attract the local tribes to his side. The Battle of Lake Trasimene went down in history as one of the largest ambushes in terms of the number of participants. It became a striking example of the use of a flanking maneuver and demonstrated Hannibal's outstanding military skill.